My name is Rick Durant. I have two kids and two stepkids. My first understanding was working with Leslie, and she was diagnosed with MS.
It was hard because I had little people. I had little kids to take care of. I don't think we told them in detail as much as, you know, this is what lesions are and this is how it affects, that kind of thing. I think it was just, you know, this is this disorder that mom has, and this is how, you know, it makes her tired.
I remember going to swimming lessons, and naturally we were tired because we swam, and my mom would take us. I mean, she got up early, but we would get home, and then she would just like sleep. And I found that to be the most bizarre thing, and for a young person particularly, it was really puzzling and super frustrating.
So then in 2009, I was diagnosed with MS, and now I know a lot about it.
I decided to have Lauren probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 years after I was diagnosed. And it was kind of a hard thought process too. I wanted to have 4 or 5. I definitely did. And then I thought, you know what if this turns on me? What if it goes south? She'd notice when I wasn't walking well and when I wasn't able to play in the side yard and do the things that I love to do with her. Now she wants to know why this is happening, you know, and why is it changing so drastically? And, you know, it's hard for me to give her an explanation.
It's important to talk with children about MS because generally children are very intuitive, very tuned in to the moods of their parents, to their parents' emotions. And not talking about what one is feeling can make children feel very left out. There are a few questions that most children do have, however, that I think should be addressed whether they bring them up or not, and that is often, can you die from MS? Can I catch it? And did I cause MS?
Not all children ask questions, however. And so I think when parents talk about the disease and provide basic information, the other value of that is that they're giving their children permission to talk about it. Oh, this is a subject that's okay for us to discuss. I have questions, and then the questions will follow.
I don't think we talk about MS that much. I think it's kind of in the background, but doesn't come out occasionally. I know Kyle one night, he kind of said that. He says, you guys never really talk about this.
Lauren gets overwhelmed by some of the physical demands, and then also sometimes when Margie's cognitive functioning really is diminished. I think she gets overwhelmed by that because I don't think she's fully understanding what's happening to her mom, and I know it's upsetting to her.
I remember all sorts of arguments about soccer finances and things like this, and the striking memory was always my mom saying, "Stop interrupting me. Like, I can't remember. Quit, you know, you have to let me talk. You have to let me finish."
Children actually have a harder time understanding the less visible symptoms of MS than the problems they can see and understand, like having difficulty walking. A child can easily see if a parent is slower or has trouble moving his or her legs or is falling. But symptoms like changes in mood, changes in thinking and memory, and that fatigue that is so devastating. Over time, I think kids do adapt very well, and they gain some very important strengths and personal qualities from growing up in a family in which everybody has learned to deal with and communicate about the challenges that MS poses.
Children are able to take MS quite a bit in stride in their lives after a period of grief or mourning or worry or anxiety.
Children may need to take on more responsibilities when they grow up in a family with MS than some of their peers might. But what adult children have told us as they look back on their experiences growing up is that they gained a great sense of pride, of accomplishment. They learned a lot of skills that their peers didn't have. And they felt like they were playing a very active role in helping the family work and function like a family.
The normal part of a mother-daughter teenager relationship, we've learned, can be very challenging.
So parents with MS who are facing challenges in their parenting or with their children need to remember that it may not all be about MS.
It does get frustrating from time to time because things often don't make sense in the teenage world or the adult world, and those two worlds tend to clash. So we just do the best we can and hang on for the ride, and we try to educate ourselves, and we take parenting classes.
It's really important to not blame everything on MS because that might lead you to overlook other challenges that your child may be facing or that may be going on in his or her life that have nothing to do with you or your MS.
Taking care of yourself is an important part of parenting because attending to your own needs allows you to have the most energy and availability that you can have to then invest in parenting your child.
I really want to be able to go to her lacrosse game, and it's hard for me to get in the stadium.
She's a great mom in that, unfortunately, the disease is very confining, where she's not mobile and she spends a lot of time at home in the house. But as a mom, that's a great thing because she's around for her daughter, she's around for Lauren, and she's a great resource and there to just listen, which teenagers need.
We usually sit around the table and talk, or we watch a movie sometimes, or we sometimes go out to like a festival in Denver, or even just like go out to dinner occasionally. So when I take her out with my permit, I have to help her in the car, so I pretty much just like lift her into the seat, and then I have to get the chair out and then help her in the chair afterwards. But it's a lot better me driving rather than her, just because it's a lot safer. And yeah.
What we hope that MS teaches Lauren is that she'll grow up to be a more compassionate, caring person, because she'll hopefully grow up with a sense of appreciation for health and well-being, that nothing's a guarantee, that every day is a gift, and that she'll hopefully mature and realize that and really live a hopefully fuller and more rewarding life.
I've never been embarrassed that my parents had the disease. Even if they were in a wheelchair, could barely walk, I would never be embarrassed because they're my parents and I love them.
MS hasn't affected any of my abilities as far as loving my kids or caring for my kids or taking care of them or staying home when they're sick. As those type of parenting things are easy and they just come.
And what's most important about being a parent is providing love and nurturing and support and emotional availability to your child.
I think we do need to make sure that young children have time to be children. So if extra chores around the house or other activities engaged in helping a parent with MS interfere with time at school or time with their friends or extracurricular activities, that's a signal that parents need to reach out to the National MS Society or other organizations to learn about the resources that may be available in their communities to help provide that support so that the kids have the time and space to be kids.